Hey.
All right, welcome out to the Gridiron 64 podcast, where today we'll be talking about week 6. The guys and I will be making the predictions. We've got about maybe, I think, 15 games on the schedule, so this is probably by far the most games that we'll be predicting so far this season. And so we've got some good games on the schedule. I've got the guys back with me, Johnny and Tony. Guys, how you guys doing?
Good.
Doing all right.
Are you ready to make the predictions?
Let's do it.
So I didn't tally you up. I apologize.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah, I didn't tally him up, but I'll have it this week. I apologize. I know I was leaving, but I'll do it tomorrow evening, and I'll send it to you guys, and I'll have it next week. But I still have to break down I haven't tallied them up, so I wouldn't be able to do it in a few minutes. But we'll see who took the lead. But I don't have it now, so I apologize. But we do have, like I said, I think 15 games on the schedule. I think they're pretty good. So if you guys are ready, we can start breaking down these games. Of course, the first one on the list is the Rockport Southside Cardinals, but we always leave Rockport to the end. So we'll go to the second game on our schedule, which is the Uvalde Coyotes will be playing the Ingleside Mustangs. So, Tony, I'll go to you first. Can Ingleside get another win before district starts?
I think Ingleside has a really, really good chance of winning this game. I mean, Uvalde hasn't really done nothing this season. I mean, let's see, what is it? 1-4. They played some pretty decent competition, but I think Ingleside's got a lot of momentum going their way. Also haven't really been battle tested. I don't think in all facets of the game, but I think they have enough to beat Uvalde this week. So I think I'm gonna pick Ingleside to win.
Johnny, this would be if Ingleside loses this game, it's going to be a tough loss for these guys going into district. What's your take? Can Ingleside get the win, or will Uvalde get the upset?
Well, I'm not going with Ingleside with confidence on this one. Yeah, Uvalde has that 1-4 record. Now, to me, they played some decent teams. I mean, they played Divine, who are 4-1. Hondo 4-0, Comfort, who was 5-0, and they just recently lost against Coral, and Coral looks like they're turning things around. Even though they got shut up, I think it was 28-0 against Coral. Coral looks like they've turned it around. I think so. Yeah, they got that 1-4 record, but that's some tough competition they've been facing. They've been playing teams that are 14-1, put it all together. So that's some tough competition there. Then I saw a head-on team against Carrizo Springs. When Ingleside won that one 28-20, while Uvalde beat them 52-14. So I'm with that going. The teams they've been facing in that head-to-head competition, I'm going to go with Uvalde on this one.
Okay. Well, I saw the same thing you did, and based on the numbers, I thought the same thing. I said, man, I think Uvalde, they should win this game, right? I don't know. My gut tells me Ingleside's going to pull it out. They're at home. I think the defense. I know I've talked a lot about Atlanta's past. I mean, Ingleside's defense being the weak link, but I think in this game they're gonna hold strong. I think it's the offense that's gonna struggle. In other words, I think Ingleside. What it boils down to me is that Ingleside's gonna have to score a lot of points. And I don't know if they're capable. They just scored 40 this past week. Can they do it again? Um, and I want. I think Ingleside. They have to win this game. I know the competition. Rivaldi's played Hondo and some of these guys, but I'll tell you what. I'm going to go with Ingleside. I think Ingleside can get this win. Probably going to lose this one, but my gut tells me Ingleside's going to pull it out. But I think it's going to be the defense that steps up and gets the win for them. I think the offense is going to be okay because we know that offense is scored, but that defense has. And this is going to be, even though their record is what it is, this is still a very good Uvalde team. But I'm going to go with Ingleside to get the win uh, on Friday. Um, Game 3 on our schedule is the West Oso Bears, and they'll be going to San Diego to play the Vaqueros. So, Johnny, San Diego's always got a pretty good team out there. They have the last couple of years. West Oso just got their first win, so they're riding a West Street over Kingsville. Can West Oso go into San Diego and get another win, or will San Diego win?
Whoo! That was a pretty good, confident win last week, the 33-0. But is Kingsville really that terrible? That's what my question was. So again, this is San Diego's first game too. This is a hard one for me. I've always talked about West also not scoring their points. I made this prediction before this Kingsville game. I was going San Diego the whole way. Um, I'm gonna go still with San Diego only because they've always been a pretty decent team, pretty confident team with that one. I'm still gonna go with San Diego. Um, I'm scared to do that, but West also shut somebody out with going their first game. But I think San Diego will pull this one off.
Tony?
Well, this is what I think. West Oso didn't exactly lose to, push over teams. I mean, George West, George West is good. Taft have been scoring some points. London beat Carroll. You know what I mean? So West Oso's losses are not to teams that are not good. And I think they played Kingsville, and from what I saw, I only saw the first half, and it seemed like they were two pretty evenly matched teams. I don't think one team was a lot better than the other. But what I did see is I saw West Oso control the game. They controlled the tempo. They were lining up and running the place quick, And I think that tells me that they're starting to figure things out, that they're able to do that. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know, if you're confused still, or if you don't know what's going on, they got a young team too. They got a lot of new players on that team. It shows me that they're starting to click, and I don't think that San Diego is going to be the team that's gonna beat them this week. I think they get the second win. I'm going to go with West Oso.
Yeah, I think West Oso is. I thought, when I saw them against Tab, really, that's when I kind of saw, they were streaming the game, and I was kind of going back and forth because Sitton was playing Miller. But I saw a lot of good things that West Oso was doing in that game with Tab. They were moving the ball, a couple of turnovers, on downs and stuff. They just couldn't get it in the end zone. But they have athletes over there. They've always had athletes, and I thought that with this new coach coming in and not really having the 2-a-days to really get to know his players and not really having those scrimmages, really put West Oso behind because of the new coach that they had, a new system that's going to be coming in. So I thought that mid season they would start to pick things up, and we saw them. Even though Kingsville, we really don't know much about him yet. It was just a team that just just hadn't practiced, or just who Kingsville is going to be. So we really don't know how good Westoso really was. We heard Tony kind of break it down last week about what he thought. But a win's a win, and you ride that momentum in the next week. So here comes San Diego, a team that I think you said hasn't played. They're going to get their first game this week. But San Diego, to me, has become a really good team the past couple of years. They got good coaching out there. They get those boys. So I think this is going to be a really good game, but I'm going to go with San Diego on this one. I think San Diego will get the win. I think they'll struggle a little bit because it's their first week, so you're probably going to see some rust. But I think they're going to have enough, and it's in San Diego too, where I think they're going to get the win. But it is going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game to watch. But I'm taking San Diego. Game 4 on our schedule is the Great Portland Wildcats. Moody Trojans that be playing at Cavness Complex in Corpus Christi. So, Tony, Wildcats took a loss to Cal Allen, but we broke that game down, and it was their first game. This is their second game. I believe this is a district game, too. So, they're already starting to play district. So, this is big for both teams. We saw Moody come up with a big win in their first game against Beeville. Who do you got, Great Portland or Moody?
Well, it's hard to say because GP played Cal Allen. I mean, that's tough. That's a tough team to play your first game against. And they didn't score any points in that game, but Moody really impressed me with their win over Beeville, because even though Beeville's doesn't have a winning record right now, uh, they played tough competition. So I thought Beeville would have been ready for a Moody team when just going based off of their past few years, their past few seasons that Moody's had. I thought Beeville was going to win that game, but since Moody won and the way they came back in the fourth quarter to win that game, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Moody.
Woo, he's going Moody, Johnny. Who are you going with? GP or going with Moody?
I'll tell you what, all these previous past years, I would have picked GP easily on this. Uh, that would have been no question, no breakdown on that easily. But I'm thinking the same way with Tony. You know, GP did play a tough team, Callan, uh, but really didn't show no offense. You know, um, they got to show some little offense to get some wins. Um, Moody did show some offense last week. You know, especially against Beeville. Beeville's always a great team around the area. You know, and they not only put up the points, but they put up 355 total yards. You know, so that's impressive for a first game. You know, a lot of teams, their first games, we always had that little jitters. You know, so by their impressive win against Beeville, I'm gonna go with Moody on this one too.
Well, people from Moody. Well, let me tell you, um, if you look at the stats and points, Moody should be the team that you go for. That makes the most sense, right, in this game. But I'm gonna pick the Wildcats. I'm gonna pick GP to win this game, and I'll tell you why. Um, GP needs to win this game. Remember, they've got Flower Bluff in this district. They've got vets in this district. They need to make the playoffs. Coach Rhodes has been there for 4 years now and hasn't made the playoff once. There's pressure for GP. We know GP. They have not made the playoffs for a couple of years now. And in that community, they expect to win. They've got to beat Moody. If they got to grind this, they cannot afford to lose to Moody, because this is going to make it very difficult. They've got the Victoria schools. We don't know how really good they are. You've got Flower Bluff. We just talked about them as far as how good they're going to be, and we know vets. And so this is to me, this is a win because I think GP needs to be in the playoffs. I think there's more pressure for Gregory Portland to be in the playoffs this year than there is for Moody. And even though Moody's good, GP's got to come out and play their A game. So I'm going to take Portland. Plus, I think that Coach Rhodes will have this team ready, and they should be good enough. Listen, if they don't beat Moody, it's going to be hard for GP, I think, to be in the playoffs. Even though this is their second game and their backs against the wall because they really haven't had a lot of practices and or game time of playing actual games, they've got to win. This is a must win for Portland in my mind. They cannot lose their first district game if they want to get one of the last two playoff spots. So I'm gonna go with GP. I think GP will come out in this game and they'll get the win. It may be a hard fought win, but I think GP will pull it out in the end. Game 5 on our schedule is Tybee Antlers, and they're going against I think it's number 6 Cal Allen or number 8 or 6 Cal Allen Wildcats. Johnny, who do you have, Tybee or Cal Allen?
Well, Tybee only has that one game under the belt against Dripping Springs. Again, they themselves got shut out. Also, and Cal's 2 wins are against GP, which I'm not too impressed with GP yet. And when the season started, I didn't think Jordanton was anybody. But Jordanton's now 4-1. So that's a good team they beat right there. I'm just gonna go with Calvin on this one. I'm gonna go with Calvin on this one.
Tony?
Yeah, I was looking it up, and Dripping Springs, they've only got that one game against Tybee, and they won that game. And when I look at last year, Dripping Springs was a good team. So, they're not a Tybee. They played against a good team in Dripping Springs. But I just think Cal Allen is Cal Allen. That's they're a powerhouse every year. I think Danaher, just like Cyber, pick tough schedules to get ready for the regular season, and I think this is going to be one of those games that's going to come down to the wire. I don't think it'll be a convincing win, but I think Cal Allen's going to win. I don't think it's going to be by a lot, but I think Cal Allen wins this game.
Yeah, I'm going Cal Allen too. I actually predicted that Cal Allen would make it to the championship game and win it this year. I think they're that good. I think it's their time this year. This is the first time they've dropped the 4A Division One, and so I see Cal Allen getting better every week. So I'm gonna stick with the Wildcats. I think they'll get the win this week over Tybee. Game 6 on our schedule. Now this is going to be a really good one. I've actually sat all week and looked at this one, and I still haven't made what I recently. I guess maybe last night I actually decided which way I was going to go. But it's the Alice Coyotes at number 10, the Wimberley Texans. Johnny, I'll let you take first crack at this. Alice is coming. This is their first game, I think, of the season, so they're pumped. They're ready to go. They want to get that first win, but they're going to play a pretty tough Wimberley team. Can Alice get their first win in week 1 of this season, or will Wimberley, take the win?
Well, a lot's been going on with Alice with this whole virus stuff and stuff like that. I think at one time they weren't even going to have a season themselves. I myself don't think they're pumped up. I think they're still not focused on football right now. So I think they're kind of going to be one of the ones that are going to have that first week jitters. Wimberley, I think, as we say around here, is Cal's. I think Wimberley's Wimberley. And their only losses against La Paz is, the number 2 team in the state. So 4-1. Their only loss is, top ranked team. I'm just gonna have to go with Wembley on this one.
Tony?
Yeah, I'm with Johnny. Uh, I think Alice, football and high school football in Alice is a big deal. If you ever go to any of their games, they got a lot of fans that go to the games, support the team. Uh, but so does Wimberley. I mean, when I went to that playoff game, man, they had them stands packed. And they coming off a really good season last year, and they're starting off the season pretty good this year. Uh, I don't know. I think Wembley's going to be too much for Alice's first game, and I think Wembley's going to win.
I agree. I think Alice is pumping. Those guys. Football's big down there in Alice. It's big in Texas, but it's really big in Alice, man. They really follow those Coyotes. And um, I think Wimberley. I don't see Wimberley losing this game. It's Alice's. There's a lot of things stacked up against Alice. Wimberley's already going on their fifth game. Alice barely started in game one, and what a way to. It was it's almost like Alice being in the same boat that GP was in last week, where they get their first game of the season against Cal Allen. So you're throwing a ranked team to us, and we saw Cal Allen beat GP. So I don't think it's going to change much. I think it's going to take Alice some time to get adjusted to the game, and I think Wimberley's just going to roll in this one. So even though I think if the season would have started as it does every year, I think Wimberley would still win, but I think Alice would be giving them, because Alice is always tough every year, but with just their first game, I think Wimberley rolls. So I'm taking Wimberley to beat Alice on Friday. Game 7 on our schedule with Santa Gertrudis Academy. They'll be playing at TAP against the Greyhounds. Tony, Tap's got an opportunity to get back on the win streak, and I think that they will. But what's your take on this game? Can Tap be something that through this, or will there be another shot? And will
No,
Tap get their
I think
third
Taft.
game?
I think Taft wins. I think they learned something from that loss. This is kind of one of those in the middle teams in their district, not really a playoff team, but they normally do okay. But I think Taft got uh, something that they need that they need to prove. I feel like they feel like they need to prove something after losing to Refugio as bad as they did. Uh, and they shouldn't, because Refugio is a good team. But I think Taft is going to come and win this game big. This would be a big win for Taft, and it's going to let everyone know that that they lost. That loss to Refugio was because Refugio is just that good, but Taft is good enough to win district in their district. I think they'll still win district, so I think Taft's going to win pretty convincingly.
Johnny?
I hadn't circled one of them yet. I'm a little concerned with Taft right now. Y'all saying about winning the district? Yeah, they might win the district. I'm not gonna say that, but they have me a little concerned. They got 3 wins, but the 3 wins against Old Forwardsboro, now 1-4 West Oso, and then the 1-2 Freer. So I'm a little worried about Taft when they play against competitive teams. But Santa Cruz is not that competitive team to me right now. It's too early in the season to tell right now for them. They've only got 2 games under their belt. In the 2 games, they've only scored 7 points. So I think I'm gonna go with Taft on this one. I'm gonna go with Taft. If they Taft don't win this one, I'm really gonna be concerned about this.
Exactly, I will.
No, I think Tap will win this game, and I'm with Tony. I think they're going to win it big, and they'll be back on that winning side, and this is going to get them going to get into the district. this win, the TAP, I think will get this big win. Isn't really going to say much because, as you just pointed out, what Santa Cruz has done so far. But it's they've got to get back on the winning streak. They've had two big losses to Kennedy and to Refugio, so it'll be good just to get back on the winning side. But the win, if they do win, I think they will really won't mean very much because they should beat a team like this. But like I said, it's just kind of an emotional win, I guess. It's just to feel good and we can beat this team and just prepare them. So I look for Tap to do some good things offensively. This is a good time to really get that offense clicking because they've got some teams that aren't pushover in their district. It's probably going to come down to Tap and Odom, but there are some teams if you're not careful, they can sneak up on you. So I think this is hopefully this will get that offense rolling because they're going to need that offense when they get into district. But I don't. I'd be very shocked if Tap doesn't win on Friday. I'm taking the Greyhounds to win. Uh, Game 8 on our schedule is Natalia Mustangs, and we're going to stay in the same district. They're going to be playing the Odom Owls. Johnny, who do you got, Odom or Natalia?
Well, you're talking highly about Odom just now. Um, ooh.
I can
Well,
see all of your picks.
I wrote something down. I forgot what it meant. Uh, well, Odom has the 3-2 record. You know, I mean, their wins are against West Osel and Corner City, and against Santa Catrudis too. Those are not three convincing teams right there. Um, Earlier in the season, I was talking about how do you say that, Natalia?
Natalia.
Natalia, and I think it was the Calvin and Jerdenton game. I was comparing the team that when I was saying Jerdenton, that was um, their only win was against that team because of the team I never heard of. Um, Actually, no, they lost. Jerdenton lost against them. Um, the same team has beaten George West also. Um, for the amount of points they scored against Jordan and how the convincing, I want to say convincing, but the win they had against George West, I'm gonna go with Natalia. That's right. I just never heard of him. I'm surprised I never heard of him. And I'm going with them just because they played better competition than Odom has. I'm not just too impressed with the wins Odom has this year as far as their competition being the 3 wins for them. So I'm going with
And you said
Natalia.
and you said Natalia beat George West, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
28-32.
And that's a really good George West team out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a good victory for them. So Tony, knowing that, are you sticking with the Odom Owls or are you gonna go with Natalia?
No, I had Natalia. Uh, they let's see. They have 2 losses, one to Jordanton, like Johnny said, and one to Stockdale, only by 1 point. So and their wins have been pretty convincing. Like, besides the George West game, which was a close one, 31-28. And just because of the competition that Natalia has played, I'm gonna go with Natalia.
Yeah, I'm going with Natalia too. I think Odom. It's good to get those wins under your belt, but again, you also got to take a look at who you're beating because that makes a difference. And so I was very impressed with Natalia's George West. That's a really good George West team. So I think they'll come in and they'll beat Odom. The game will be played in Oda, but I think Natalia takes the win. Game 9 on our schedule is the Edna Cowboys at Orange Grove Bulldogs. Ooh. That's gonna be a game. Tony, I'll let you have first crack at it. Taking Edna Cowboys or the Orange Grove Bulldogs?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Edna. Um, let's see, pulling this up real quick. Edna. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was trying to remember who they played last week. They just beat Goliad, and that was I said that was gonna be a close game, and it was a close game. Um, and they had some losses to some big schools, Bay City, East Bernard, Refugio, uh, and Orange Grove. I mean, he's beating Sinton and London and teams like that. I mean, it's not like Orange Grove has played pushover teams, but Orange Grove, if I'm not mistaken, they're coming off of a loss. Yeah, they lost to Industrial, pretty big. So I think just because of who Edna's played, even though they have less wins, I think I'm gonna go with Edna.
Johnny, Edna or Orange Grove?
Yeah, I remember looking back as far as that goes, as far as who Edna's been playing. Um, the reason why they have that 1-4 record. Um, Orange Grove is coming off that loss against Industrial. Now the Industrial is not doing too bad themselves. Being 4-1 themselves. So it wasn't a push. It wasn't a loss against a terrible team. Um, I think those Bulldogs are a very powerful team. I think they're one of those teams that likes to come out in the second half. Um, so I'm gonna go with Orange Grove on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the game can be played in Orange Grove. Um, so this is tough because you look at Edna and the teams they play. And you have to ask yourself if Orange Grove was playing those teams, could Orange Grove have picked up a victory, at least one, over the teams that? And that's the way I look at it. So when Edna, they have the 3 losses, right? And so I'm thinking, could Orange Grove? Do I think Orange Grove, if they played those 3, could they have gotten a victory? And I don't think so. But what does impress me about Orange Grove is this quarterback. He's still young, but he's a good quarterback. He's got receivers. They can score. The question is the defense. That's the question. And um, and you can make the argument. They played Sitton, really good high power offense. They were able to shut them down in week 1. So this is kind of evenly matched. I think this is going to be just kind of who has the best night, who's going to come out and can make the big plays. Both of these teams are capable of making these plays. And I like Orange Grove, and I want to pick Orange Grove. And oh man, I still haven't made this decision yet. You know, I want to pick Orange Grove. My gut tells me Edna. Then I look back and I said, the record. If they were really good and they were unbeatable, they would have found a way to win. They got beat. Doesn't matter if you play a good team. Um, if you're good enough to win, you'll find a way to win. They lost those games, so I'm gonna go with Orange Grove. Um, I think Orange Grove can pull it out. Um, but I'm telling you, man, Edna is a tough team. Um, but I think Orange Grove is going to have a big offense. They're going to have a good offensive night. And I like that quarterback down there, man. He's got some receivers, and he can throw that ball. So if it was played in Edna, I'd probably pick Edna. But since it's at home, I think they're gonna perform well, and I think they'll get the win. So I'm going Orange Grove. Game 10 on our schedule. The Palacios Sharks against the Mathis Pirates. Oh. Yanni, I'll let you take first crack. Mathis or Palacios? Now we saw what Palacios did this to Aranda's pass, but that's Aranda's pass. You think Mathis can beat Palacios, or do you think it's going to be another boat whipping?
Who'd you ask?
Johnny.
Okay. um, Palacios did have a lot of points last week. A lot. And this is week 1 for Mathis. Um, I don't think they're going to stop. I don't think they're going to stop Palacios. Um, they're 3-1, and their only losses against Yokel, which is number 18, that stayed in 3A. So going on that, I'm gonna put Palacios on this one.
Tony?
Yeah, I'm also going with Palacios. You know, it's Mathis' first game. You know, being the first game, it can go two ways. You know, what we saw in some of the first games in week 1, there was a lot of first game jitters. But this was week 1 for a lot of the bigger schools, and some of them schools didn't have jitters. Like Veterans Memorial didn't have first game jitters. Uh, Moody didn't have first game jitters. You know, Flower Bluff. So it could go that way, or you know where you don't have them, or you do, and I think Mathis will, and Palacios. I mean, they're scoring points, so I'm gonna go with Palacios.
I think Mathis will struggle a little, at least. I don't think they'll come out like a well-oiled machine. I think they will struggle a little bit, and Palacios is coming off that big win. And I think that's just going to continue to roll this week. Um, in Mathis. So I picked Palacios. I don't see Mathis slowing them down. Now I'll say this: there was a kid. I think he's a sophomore out there for Palacios. Playing for Palacios. He grew up in Rockport. He used to play for Rockport. He used to play youth football, I believe, here. Um, his name was Christian. He's playing up in Palacios. I know he had 2 touchdowns last week against the
Christian,
Rams. I don't
what
know.
do you remember? Do you remember his name? Christian.
Woodard.
Oh yeah, I know Christian. I
Yeah,
coached him
Christian
too.
Woodard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Christian
cool. I
Woodard.
like Christian.
He's,
He used to play
he's
at
playing up.
Goliad.
Yeah, he's playing up in Palacios now. I heard, and I heard he had a big game against Aransas. His older brother played with. We coached his older brother Ethan. But I heard he's been doing pretty good out there. I know he's on that Palacios team, so he's a good football player.
Yeah, he
I
was.
think he's a sophomore this year. Um, but I heard he had 2 touchdowns against Iran, 2 or 3 touchdowns. I don't know if he's playing receiver or running back, but he had a big game against them. So this is a very good Palacios team that I think will come in and I think because it's Mathis's first game, I think they're going to struggle. You're asking Mathis to do a lot to beat a Palacios team that's rolling. So I think Palacios is going to continue to roll, and I think they'll beat Mathis. So I'm going to Palacios on Friday. Game 11 on our schedule is the Industrial Cobras. They're going to play the Aransas Past Panthers. So, Tony, I'll give it to you. Aransas just took a boat whipping last week, and now they got Industrial. We kind of talked a little bit about what Industrial's done so far and some of the teams they've beaten. Do you give Aransas Pass any chance of beating Industrial this Friday?
Nah, I don't think so. I think Industrial coming off a big win against Orange Grove, a team like Orange Grove. Uh, I don't think I don't see AP even in the same realm as Orange Grove, and Industrial just beat them. So I have a feeling that they're not going to have any problem beating Aransas Pass.
Johnny, so before I ask you who you're going to pick, could this be another 60-point game loss for Aransas Pass if you're going with Industrial, or do you think Aransas Pass can come back and beat Industrial?
I don't know about 60. I mean, that's I want to say that's unheard of, but hey, I feel Rams got to like pick up something. They got to go some. They got to put a little fight into this one. But I don't think there's gonna be enough fight to even beat Industrial on this one. I mean, their only loss is against Hollisville, which is the number 4 team in the state. They got shut out 44-0. Okay, Industrial's been scoring some points. With that 0, that put them still at 49 points per game. So they can score. No, that was actually before that game. That was before the shutout. But before that Hollisville game, they were scoring 49 points per game. So maybe your 60 might not be out of the range. So who knows? But I really hope that Arends don't back off and let go. I hope they put a little bit of fight into this. But I'm easily going to go with Industrial on this one.
Yeah, listen, I think Industrial is going to win big again. And that's what I was talking about last week, where I say, I thought that the strength of Aransas pass in week 1 that I saw them play was the defense. It wasn't the offense, and we were wondering if because it was week 1, if that offense could get going, as the season progressed, and we saw what Palacios did to them. Industrial just comes off a win, being a really good Orange Grove team. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a 50-plus game for Industrial. I think you're going to start to see some issues there with Aransas as far as can that offense get going? It's just tough to beat this team, and it's hard. I think, guys, when you get beat by a team 60 something to 7, and then you're asked to come and play another tough team. How do the guys practice? How will practice go this week? What can the coaches do to get these guys, if they're not motivated, to give them an opportunity? Because you got to think. When I went into a game and I was playing basketball, I always wanted to win, but I knew reality. There were teams sometimes we played Port Lavaca that was just better than us. I wanted to win, but reality said, yeah, this team's really good. But you motivate yourself to still go out there, whether you know you can win or not, and you do everything you can because there's breaks. You scramble for a loose ball. You may get hot that game. There's always that chance, but you got to play your best game, to beat a really good team. Does Aransas think that way? After a loss like last week, then they got to come in and play Industrial team that just beat Orange Grove. Can they come in? What's their mental state? Do they think they can win? Because that's really what matters. If you think you can, they're going to put up a fight. And if they're saying no, they're going to get beat down again 50 plus. So I think Industrial wins big, man. I think Aransas going to have a hard time trying to score points against Industrial. So I'm going Industrial to win on Friday. The 12th game on our schedule, King Mustang, CC Vets. Johnny, I'll let you take it. CC Vets. King hasn't been very hot these last couple of years. They haven't really been competing either as far as with the other corporate schools. It's been a while since they've been in the playoffs. We saw what CC Vets did to Miller last week. Who do you got?
I think there's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be easily a blowout. The Vets scoring that much against Miller. They're very explosive. They're not slowing down from last year. They're continuing on this year. They want to finish off this fight. They want to win that state, and I think they're going to do it game by game. King hasn't really shown nothing that you said. They only got one game under the belt, and they lost against Pleasanton. And Pleasanton, that was their only win of the season too. So I'm easily going with Vets in this one, and I think this is going to be the blowout for me on this one.
Tony, I think I know which way you're going to go, but I still need to ask you, who do you got?
I definitely got Veterans Memorial. I think they're going to dominate that district, with the exception of Flower Bluff. I think that's going to be the district championship decider, be Flower Bluff and Vets. So I don't think any of the other schools are gonna really get in the Veterans Memorial's way, other than maybe Flower Bluff.
True, I'm going Vets too. I think they're the best team in Corpus right now this year. We saw them last year. Of course, Wagner came in after the Miller game and really put a whipping on them. But They're by far, I think, the best team in Corpus. Again, we'll see what Flower Bluff's got. We saw them. It's going to be a good matchup, but I'm still giving veterans the edge to win that district. But it's still kind of early to predict. But in this game, I don't see King putting up much of a fight. This is going to get ugly, and Vets is going to win big over King or the Mustangs. Game 13 on our schedule is Victoria West Warriors and the Flower Bluff Hornets. So we talked about Flower Bluff and Vets possibly meeting up for the district champion. So Tony, I'll ask you: does Victoria have a shot to beat Flower Bluff? We just saw Flower Bluff last week.
Um, and a thought just came to my head right now. I don't know what the injury report is on Isaac Miles. But if he doesn't play, that's gonna be a tough game for Flower Bluff to try to win because both Victoria schools are usually pretty competitive. Uh, I mean, I hope he's okay. I mean, I like to see somebody who's that good, play. And not have to miss out. But if he does not play, it's gonna be a tough game to win for Flower Bluff. But I'm gonna go Flower Bluff anyways. But I hope Isaac Miles is all right.
Johnny, who do you got?
Well, that's a good point there. By the way, we don't know about Miles right now. Um, Victoria West is a very great team. They were last year. Um, Flower Bluff came out week one hungry because they were always a competitive team. Victoria West is also a very competitive team, and I think they're going to come out very hungry. Last year they did beat Flower Bluff 35-16. So Victoria West is somebody too, and I think they're going to come out more hungry than Flower Bluff. So I'm gonna go with Victoria West on this one.
I'm taking Flower Bluff. I don't know the situation with Miles. I think if he doesn't play, of course, that makes it harder. He's they need him. He does so much for them, and I think he also opens up the pass for Flower Bluff because you have to pay so much attention to him, and he's got that big old line. But even if Miles doesn't play, they still have that big line, and we saw what the backup could do. He's not as good as Miles, obviously, but he can get it done, and he can help you win a game. So I think it's going to be a good game, but I'm going to go with Flower Bluff. I like the way that they're coached, and and their defense is good. It's not just their offense; they have a really good defense. I don't know Victoria West's defense, but that Flower Bluff. Listen, Tony always talks about Rockport's offense is good. It's a good offense, and they were honest. And our line wasn't quite as big as their D line. I think Victoria West might be bigger than Rockport, but our guys can block, and we run the ball just as good as anybody in this area. And they came in and they shut us down. It's not easy to shut Rockport down to get no points. I mean, that just doesn't really happen. I don't know when's the last time that even happened. We score, and whether we lose the last couple of years, we've been competitive. I think the last 2 years, the only team I think that's really come in and fight, and really in the last 2 years, really convincingly beat Rockport was El Campo last year. Outside of that, we've been very competitive with everybody. So these guys came in and for 4 quarters they shut a pretty good Rockport offense. So I'm really impressed more with that Flower Bluff defense than the offense, and I think they'll be ready. And I think it'll be a good game, but I think Flower Bluff pulls it out. But I think they pull it out because of that defense. I think that defense will be on. It's going to be a good game to watch. But I'm going Flower Bluff. Game 14 on our schedule. The Lake Texans at now not I think it's would you say 20 something ranked the Miller Bucks. So this game will be played at Buck Stadium. Johnny, I'll go with you. You got Ray or you got Miller. I think Ray lost pretty big last week, so now they're going into Miller. Miller's coming. Miller needs to get a win, and I think that they might get this. Might be the win that they need. So, are you going Miller or Ray?
Well, Ray did have coming off a loss, in the week one, 7-21 against Toulouse Midway. Now, if we think back, Miller blew out Toulouse Midway 62-20. So I like looking at these head-to-head things, and they also beat Sitten, not really that bad. Um, so I'm going to usually go with Miller on this. I don't think Ray is there this year. Um, I thought they were going to get TM on this. Um, a little concerned about the Miller defense, though. They've been giving up a lot of points. They've been giving a lot of points, but I don't think Ray is going to hang with Miller on this one. So I'm going to go with Miller easily on this.
Tony?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. I think Miller wins pretty convincingly, even though there are some holes in the defense. That offense they got is just explosive, and as we saw when they played Rockport, I mean they scored in 3 plays. After we killed 3 or 4 minutes off the clock on our first drive, they scored in 3 plays. You know what I mean? So that's something that Miller is capable of doing. I mean they went head to head with Veterans Memorial last week. And the game was close up until the the second half of the game. So I don't think Race can bring that kind of firepower to the game, and I think Miller wins pretty convincingly.
Yeah, I think Ray's going to struggle with Miller. Ray's defense is not going to be able to stop Miller. Miller's going to be explosive, and they're going to win big, I think. But this is a really good uh, time for the Miller defense to play shutout game and not let Ray score because you know they've been the weak link to that team. The offense is going to score points as we've seen, but the defense. If this is if Ray can score 20, 21 or more points, doesn't say very much. This defense has to get a zero. They need to get a goose egg. They need to play tough. They need to be able to shut down an offense for 4 quarters and not let them score. And as they get in the district, because again, Ray's going to be playing the Flower Bluff offenses, and they're going to be playing the Vets. These are high power offenses that they can pass and run with big lines. So, Ray. This is going to be a test for their defense because they're going to see a lot of what Miller's going to bring. On the other side, Miller needs to go ahead and play a good defense because they're going to be seeing good offenses in Cal Allen and Port Lavaca. So I'm looking for Miller defense to get a shutout. And Ray, let's see how that defense can play. It's going to be a good test for them when they play Miller because Miller's going to come out. And we know Miller can score in less than a minute. And I think you're going to see a lot of that um, on Friday. So I'm going with Miller, and I think Miller wins big. Game 15 on our schedule is Victoria East. The Titans going up against the Carroll Tigers. Carroll lost to London, and this is a smaller school, but it's a really good London team. But I think Carroll should have wanted a bigger school, and they couldn't get the win over London. So now they're playing Victoria East. Do you give Carroll any chance to win this game over Victoria? It's going to be
Man,
played in Corpus.
that what now? They said we play where?
It'll be played in Corpus.
Oh, Corpus.
The game's going to be played in Caboose, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think. Man, I hate to say this, but the future's not looking bright for Carroll. I mean, London is a good football program, but I mean, I don't even know what they play in. They play in 3A or something like that, 2A, I don't know, 3A. I mean, Carroll's a big 5A school. You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, not because of classifications. You should not only because of classifications you should have the edge, but I mean that's one of the reasons. I mean because you have so many students and so many a bigger pool of players to choose from, and for to get beat by London, man, it that to me speaks a lot about what kind of season Carroll's going to have because they're in a tough district. So if Carroll wants to try to get some wins, they need to try to get them quick. But I don't think it's going to be against Victoria East. So I'm gonna go Victoria East.
Johnny?
Well, I did a little research on this a little bit. Um, I'm gonna pick Victoria East all the way on this one though. No doubt. Um, yeah, Carroll lost against London, a small school. Um, here's some stats that y'all might want to listen to as far as Carroll goes. Carroll's running on a 24 game losing streak right now. Since 2017, they've been 1-31. Um, Carroll's football program has really gone down. Um, Carroll used to always be that top team, that district championship team, always. You know, back in the day of only taking two teams to the playoffs, they were up there. Um, so the Carroll football program has completely changed. I don't know about the whole athletic program, but here's something I wanted to point out too was Veterans Memorial has been outstanding here lately. They didn't start off that way, but now they're basically a dominant school, especially in the football program. Um, Here, let's see if you can follow me on this. Back in 2014, Carroll was 9-2. Okay, this is before veterans vets were even existent. Carroll was 9-2. Uh, when the vets became a school, their first season were just 3-2. They didn't have a district. They just played like teams here and there.
They only played JV. They
Is
only
that
had
what
a
it was?
JV. Yeah, they only had a JV team.
Okay, so and then that season, Carroll kind of dropped down to 7-4. Okay, that was in 2015. 2016, um, vets were 4-6, and Carroll kind of dropped down to 5-6. Now the 2017, and since then the vets have been explosive. 2017, the vets were 11-2, while Carroll went 1-9. And since then, that's been their only win from 2017 is that one win. And Carroll has not won another game since then. And kind of shows you where the athletes are going.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of.
Carroll's building a new school.
And that's going to be interesting. Are they going to go back?
We'll see.
Are they going to go back? Are they going to compete again? You know, but it's sad seeing a football program go down while another one builds up, which is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So,
and Johnny, I remember in the early '90s, man, Carroll. I mean, I remember the players they had. I mean, they had Coach Slaughter, I believe his name was up there. This team wasn't losing to anybody here. I think they would go out to I don't know, South Lake Carroll, I think it was. It was some team that they were playing that they couldn't get past. But the athletes that they had at Carroll, the football program, they were dominant here. They had great running backs. They were big. And Carroll's always been known for football. And it is sad to have seen this school drop, especially for those kids that still go to Carroll, the tradition that they had there. And it's not only losing, but they haven't been able to keep coaches there either. It's almost like every year, every other year, they're hiring a new coach. So it is sad for those of us that follow, Corpus football. Carroll's been dominant for years. Great coaching, great players, and now all of a sudden, you can't even win but one game in 3 years. There's a lot about where that talent has gone, and why Vets is so good. But as Tony said, uh, Carroll's going to build a school. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens between these teams. But if you're Carroll, man, I think you're upset. These are your players. It's kind of like Robstown baseball going to Cal Allen, isn't it? I mean, you're from Robstown. If you're a Robstown Coppicer baseball fan and you see some of your players going to Cal Allen, it's got to upset you, right? Because you know you belong in Robstown.
Yeah.
But a lot of those players go to Cal Allen, and make Cal Allen a really good baseball. So much more, I think Cal Allen's baseball team has excelled more now than the Robstown. But back in the day, like Carroll was dominant. You didn't hear about Cal Allen back in the day. It was people were scared to play Robstown. You didn't want to play Robstown back then because you knew they were going to beat you. That's not the dominant team anymore. They're good, but they're not what it used to be. So players move. So it is sad to see Carroll lose week in and week out, but we know where their athletes are going. Johnny just gave you the statistics of what's been going on the last 3 years. It's sad, but it is what it is. And, I think Carroll's going to have another season where they may not win a game, especially when they get in the district. That district is tough, man. It's tough. And now you got Moody that's playing good you know. So it may go where they go defeated again this year.
Yeah.
It's sad, but we'll see what happens.
I think that's a district game. They missed out on their first I mean their only preseason game, I think, because I think Victoria East is in that 5A district, isn't it? East and
Yeah,
West
the
with Flower
those
Yeah,
schools
Bluff.
are
yeah.
on
So it's a
the
district game.
five.
So this game counts.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. They may not win another game this year, which is sad because I used to follow. I had a family member that went to Carroll back when Carroll was dominant, and so I used to follow Carroll, the Tigers, a lot. And it's been sad to see this program not be as dominant as they had been in the early '90s or early 2000s. So hopefully, with this new school built, they'll get some of those athletes back and they'll be able to compete in this Corpus area. But I'm taking Carroll to lose. I don't think they'll win against Victoria. So I'm taking Victoria. And then the last game on our schedule is the Rockport Fort Pirate game, which is Southside Cardinals will be coming into Rockport Fulton. So Tony, I'll let you go first. Um, Rockport's coming off their first loss. We've talked already about it. Do you think Rockport can bounce back, or do you think this is going to be another tough game for Rockport against Southside?
Well, this is Southside's first game, I believe. I don't think they played anybody yet.
No.
Um, but so it's really hard to say how Southside's going to do. I mean, they're 518. I mean, they're a big school. If it's the same Southside that used to be in the district with that 5A district back in the days, because we had a San Antonio team, two San Antonio teams that used to be in the 5A district down there in Corpus. And I want to say Southside was one of them, and they usually were not that good. They usually were in the bottom of that district. But that doesn't say a lot because there's a lot of tough teams, with when Cal Allen and all them other schools. So it was tough. They were in a tough district. So um, I really don't know what to say about Southside, but I'm not going to go against Rockport just because they lost to Flower Bluff. I mean, Flower Bluff's a good school. Like I said, I can't take that away from the kind of team that program that Flower Bluff is. I think Rockport gets it together, and I think they win this game. I think they the players are gonna look at themselves in the mirror and individually and say, hey, this is what I could have done. And you get that when you're an athlete and you lose a game, you talk about what you could have done, what you should have done. And the good thing is these kids have time to fix that. And I think that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I think Rockport comes back and they win this game.
Johnny, I know when I lost the game, I was ready to win the next one. I mean, I wanted to because I wouldn't sleep good. I had a bad day. We lost the basketball game. I had to come into school the next day, and it was just I couldn't wait to get back on the court. We played on Tuesdays. I couldn't wait till Friday came or Friday, get over that weekend because that loss would bother me a lot. Because I wanted to get back and redeem myself. I wanted to make sure if I had a bad game, I could play a better game. I could win. So losses, when I played, I couldn't wait for that next game to get the opportunity to get that win. And I think that's how Rockport is. I think they're gonna come out, and I think they're gonna win this game. My gut tells me that they're gonna win. Rockport's too good of a team to go to lose twice. Now we don't know a lot about Southside, but it really doesn't matter because we know what Rockport can do. We know what Rockport's capable of doing. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to give my prediction. I'm going Rockport. I think Rockport's going to come back. I think they're going to be able to put a good game plan together. And I look for this offense to be really good. And I look for that defense to continue to play. So I'm looking for that offense to get back on track. And I think that defense is going to be the defense. I mean, I think they're going to come in. They play hard every week. So I'm looking for Rockport. I'm expecting Rockport to win, even though this is a 5A score. And I think for these guys, they're coming off their first win, so they're coming into Rockport, and I think Rockport knows, and I think they want to perform well because then they go jump into the district the next week. So I'm going. I'm not going to predict the score, but I look for that offense of Rockport to get back on track. I look for Rockport to win Friday over Southside. What's your pick?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a high scoring game. It's hard to say with not knowing much about Southside this year. Um, they did have a good year last year. You know, they made the playoffs in the fourth place spot. You know, but that's a hell of a fourth place spot to take. You know, coming behind Port Lavaca, Cal, and Alice. You know, they ain't a bad fourth spot to take going into the playoffs. Um, Again, I don't know what returners they got this year. They could have had a great year last year and fall apart this year. So it's hard to say what they got this year, but um, the heart for Rockport guys here, I'm gonna have to go with the Rockport here. Um, Hopefully they can fix these mistakes. Um, you don't want to have mistakes in this game, but I'm still gonna go with Rockport on this.
Guys, and I tell you, I think the loss to Flower Bluff, that was just a better team. Um, I think Rockport could have won that game, but the loss, they were bigger, faster. That's a good team that Rockport played, and I think they're going to learn a lot from that game. And I really think this offense is going to get back on track. This offense is good. They've got a lot of weapons, and it's hard to shut down a team like Rockport twice, I think. And they're coached very well too. And we've seen the game plan now, even though on this loss, how well these guys are prepared. And so Southside will have to come in and play a good 4 quarters to beat Rockport. And Rockport would have to fall apart. And I don't anticipate that Rockport's going to have the penalties or the way they did in this game. I think you're going to see a little bit more of the Miller game, that Rockport team coming out because I saw a lot of emotion. Losing was not something that these guys took lightly. It wasn't like I saw them out there, no big deal. This was something that like I said, they believe they can win every game. It's in their heads that we can win. They want to win every game, and they believe they can. And like Tony said, it's really hard to go undefeated, but it can happen. And I've always said whether you can or can't, it's the fact that you think you can. It's hard to do it, but we go in there thinking we're going to win every game, and they have a lot of trust in each other, and I love to see that. And to me, I know Southside made the playoffs last year, but I'm looking more into what Rockport can do. Doesn't really matter unless you are a Refugio or you're a Cal Allen that I know of, that I may say, oh, it's going to be hard for Rockport. I know what this team is capable of doing, so I think in the end they're going to come out with the win on Friday, and that's going to really get us ready for the district opener against Sid. So I look for Rockport to win. Guys, that concludes our 15 games. There could be some upsets in this game, man. I can see it already from some of the picks. I actually believe that a lot of us are going to lose some of these picks. I think I'm going to lose some of them. Definitely the capabilities there, but these were some really tough picks, and I can see it going either way. So it's going to be very interesting when we do the breakdowns, and next week when we have the week 7 predictions, I'll tally up the points and I'll talk about week 5's tally, and I'll let you know who leads going into week 7. So it's going to be very interesting. We had some good games. If you guys got, as I always do before I leave, got any final words before we end week 6 predictions? Tony, you got anything you want to add before we go?
Um, I mean, some of these schools are starting the regular season, and I just hope that they come ready to win because these games count for some schools now. Uh, and as far as Flower Bluff, like I said earlier when we were talking about their pick, I hope the running back's okay. I hate to see players get hurt where they can't play football no more. And I think he's a senior this year, and I've seen that in the past where you have to miss a season because of an injury, and hopefully that is not that serious. And then as far as Rockport, just I hope that they take that loss, put it behind them, learn from it, and move forward and come back and get that win. So that's all I got.
Johnny?
Obviously, there's going to be a lot of some kind of upsets, or to our opinions, there are going to be some upsets. I like these teams coming around. It's nice to see seeing some teams starting their districts already, and so the hype is there, you know. And pretty sure for a couple of weeks, Rockport will be there too, So this is where the season pretty much going to start. Pretty much, these preseasons are just warm ups. No matter what your record are in preseason, you're back in the no, back to starting districts, So um, pretty much final tune up for everybody here going in. So hopefully everybody tunes up a little better, make the games a little tighter. I hate to see blowouts, I really do. It's kind of funny looking at them, pointing them out, but it's more fun seeing a close game and stuff like that. So hopefully a lot of these teams tune up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to get really good. Some of us are starting district this Friday, and for the rest of us, it'll be in 2 weeks. So yeah, the season's it's going to get underway here, the district, and it's going to be some good games to see. So we'll stay busy, guys. Before I go, I just want to remind everybody that Gridiron 64 podcast has its own YouTube channel. I sent the links out every podcast, and I put it on our YouTube channel so you can subscribe. I invite you guys to, when you have time, to look at our podcast. You can also comment on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions for the guys or myself, you can put it on there. We check it daily. I know I check it daily, a few times a day, and I'll respond to any comments. You may not agree with a pick, or you may want to support a team that maybe we said was going to lose. If you want to comment on the games, you can do that on our YouTube channel. We also got two social media pages. We Gridiron 64 on Facebook, Gridiron 64 podcast on Twitter. So check out our podcast. We do the predictions every week. We do the breakdown every week, and then of course we break down the Rockport Pirate game every week, and then we put that one over on Pirates Cove on our Facebook page. So we welcome you guys to listen and invite you guys to listen to our podcast. And as I said earlier on one of the podcasts, when we get into the high school playoffs, we're going to set up a schedule where the guys and I will be going live. So we'll be making these predictions and the breakdowns on the games. They'll be going live, so you'll be actually, be able to comment as we're making the predictions, and we'll be able to see these comments, and we can respond to some of these comments while we're live, and if not, the rest of the time, we can get back to you guys once the live video is over. But we're looking forward to doing that, guys, and setting up that schedule. But until next week, let's see how this week 6 goes. And then I'll see you guys back on Saturday after the Rockport game to break down a week 6 football game. So until then, guys, peace out. Have a good night. I know we stayed up a little later than we usually do, but it was fun. I just want to say that, it was a good game on our Cowboys. They lost, unfortunately. Dak Prescott is asking for 40 million. I don't think he's earned that from what I saw today. So hopefully we'll be able to make the playoffs. But until next week, guys, peace out. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys in a couple of days.
All righty, man. Gotta take it easy.